Assalamu alaikum. Good afternoon. I'm so happy to be here. I would like to first of all thank all of you for making this conference so special. And there's too many people, too many names to thank here of the organizing committee. I also have seen the passion all the way from first contact with our feet to everyone after that, to the speakers who are here. This is really a world-class conference. Can we give each other a big applause for that? Congratulations to all of you. My name is Nick Jonsson, and I'm here today to talk about the topic that is close to my heart. Outside what I'm talking about today, I'm an entrepreneur, and I'm running a business in 3 countries, working from 2 other countries. Some may call me a digital nomad, but I guess I'm one of the modern workforce people who work in different countries. My team of 40 staff all work remotely. So we have a high level of trust inside our company, and we've done that for a few years. Outside of my office, I'm an athlete, as we said, and you will hear that today. I'm also remarried, and you will hear about my journey today. But today, it's not so much about me. It's about you. It's about owning your destiny and for you to find your proven path to a life beyond your wildest dreams. So I would like you to start by thinking about yourself. Reflect for a moment. What would your life look like if you were living it to your wildest dreams? So go deep inside yourself here and think, how would it feel like if you were living your life beyond your wildest dreams? What would it really feel like deep in your heart to live the life that is beyond your wildest dreams? Now I would like you to share with your learning partner next to you. I will give you 1 minute to share. What would a life beyond your wildest dreams look like? So share with each other for 1 minute. Okay, thank you. So now hold on to that thought. Hold on to that thinking about your life, about the wildest dreams, because we're going to come back to that later on today. But let's start by me sharing my journey and my searching for a life beyond my wildest dreams. So I was born in Sweden, and I didn't start off well. I failed in high school, I didn't have good grades, and I only started university when I was 23 years of age. It took me that many years to become mature enough to start university. At university, I was told that we need to be successful. My first day, the dean stood up at the business school and said, here at the university, we have scholarships if you study hard. You can top the classes, you will get awards. And he showed pictures of success. He said, we want to compete with the best universities in the world, and I want you to work hard. And I listened to his speech. I was very motivated, and I said to myself, Nick, you're 23 years of age, you have not studied yet, this is your chance. Go out, get it. And I started to really think about success. I topped classes, I got a scholarship, and I managed to keep it all the way through. I did a bachelor degree, I did a master's degree at a private university in Australia. I started to get some confidence in myself. I said, yes, I can do this. But studying is quite lonely many times. You study for yourself. Yes, there's some teamwork, but most of it, you study hard and you have exams and so on. When I later on came into the workforce, I brought the same mentality with me into the workforce. I started as an account executive, and I worked myself up to an account manager, account director, general manager. Then I started to get the taste. I want to be a managing director. I want to manage bigger companies. I got the taste for success. My managers, the bosses, they loved me because I worked very hard. I was very disciplined. I achieved the results, but I elbowed my way to the top. I did it for me to win. I did it for myself. I wanted the bonuses. It was for me. Once I found myself at the top as a managing director of a very large company in Indonesia, managing 72 hospitals and clinics in the country with 1,400 staff. I had everything I wanted. The goals I set up for myself, the salary, the packages, everything that society have told me, that's what we work for. But I questioned myself, is this what I really want? And the answer was no. I felt lonely, I felt isolated, I was distant from my team. I remember having a very nice big office, and I preferred to sit inside the office eating alone when the staff went to the canteen and had their lunch. And I remember feeling that, yes, I have everything, but I don't have the connection with the people. I don't have the connection with them. I could delegate to them, they would do whatever I asked them for. But when it was something that was very difficult for me, I'm not very good at Microsoft Excel, for example. If it was something that was very challenging and I had to check it, I didn't really get the support from the team when I needed it. I started to make mistakes. I was falling short and I started to have self-doubt. And in the end, this led me to failures. I was terminated from 2 jobs, one because I underperformed, another job because of a merger and acquisition. Then when I came into my 3rd job, a new job, I had so much anxiety inside me. I started to see myself as a failure. The self-doubt drove me crazy. So I resigned from that job, then found myself jobless. With that, I started to question my relationship at home, and I found myself in a divorce. With that, my life was tumbling down. It wasn't too long, I gained a lot of weight. That's me in 2018. So over a few years, I was tumbling down. And I exchanged my healthy diet to fast food, pizza, and I ended up consuming alcohol. And with that, I was going down. This is my left foot in April 2018. It looked like a swollen elephant foot. At the time, I had to go to the doctors. We did X-ray. They couldn't find anything wrong. It was only later on a psychologist diagnosed it as a psychosomatic illness. So I was in a deep depression. I had so much anxiety, but because I didn't know how to express my feelings, I didn't know how to talk about my feelings. So you can imagine how much tension, how much stress I had in my body if this is what my foot looks like. That led me to the lowest point of my life. I started to write my will, my testament, and I was planning for my own funeral. At this stage, I was not suicidal, but I didn't also see I had something to live for. I thought, I worked hard, I achieved everything I should. What's really the purpose with my life? I didn't want to get out of the bed. I didn't feel hungry to go and work. So what's the meaning of everything, I questioned myself. Then, though, fast forward a few years later, I'm remarried, happily remarried. I travel the world now to speak in conferences, seminars, and do workshops, talking about how we can work with our teams in a more open way. I'm a top 2% world Ironman athlete. I train and I live in an Ironman training camp, train with the best athletes in the world in Phuket. Despite I'm turning 50 next year, I train with 17 to 21-year-olds who are now training to qualify for the Olympics and Asia Games. So what was the transformation? What was it? What happened? So many people have asked me, Nick, how could you go from your own funeral to where you are now in just a few years? What happened? Would you like to know what happened? Yes. If you want to know the transformation, say yes! Yes! Okay, I have crafted for you the 5 steps to life beyond your wildest dreams. So I hope that the pictures that you saw before about how you want to live your wildest dreams, that you can apply the 5 steps that I created that I will share with you today in your own life. So when you walk out of here, you are motivated to drive it in your own life to fulfill the life beyond your wildest dreams. So first we'll talk about today surrender. Then purpose, which many of the speakers have spoken about here. I will show you some tips on purpose. And then we go into connection with yourself and others. And then goals, and finally about the discipline. These are some of the 5 things that I have gone through myself. So the first one is a big one, surrender. Many senior executives, leaders, have a big ego. The big ego served me well by studying hard, getting into classes, becoming a boss, becoming a leader. And I'm sure, and I heard it in your talks, that many of your leaders and bosses also might have a big ego. But that means that they've worked hard to get there, but maybe they struggle to connect with the team around them. So for the first time in my life, I had to deflate my ego. I had to surrender. And the way I did that, I will share with you now. So I had met a woman at the time who today is my wife. Her name is Donna. And I decided for the first time in my life to share to another human being how I felt internally. I told her the full truth about my pain internally and how I really felt. I said, everything I worked so hard for, I achieved, but I'm not happy. Something is missing. And as I started to share this with her, I started to feel better right away. But it wasn't enough to just tell her. I had to also do something else. I had to let God into my life. I had to accept that there's something bigger than myself in the universe. I had to accept that we're all part of something bigger than just myself. And this is a big concept with many leaders who need this. The coin I have there has the serenity prayer, something which I still carry with me in my pocket still today. It's about letting go of the things that you cannot control. It's a reminder to myself, and I do this prayer several times a day. And because I met Donna, who is from Indonesia, she also made me convert to Islam at the time as a Muslim. So with that began God coming into my life, and I started to understand that I don't have to live my life on my terms. There's another way of living my life. And that is something that I still keep with me today. So with that surrender then, which was the first step, I want you to reflect on, is there something in your life that you need to let go of? Is it something that is outside of your control that you need to let go of? I, for example, have not watched the news or read the news in detail for the last 3 years. Because I cannot control what's happening. There's wars, there's conflict, there's too much. I cannot take care of everything. What I can do is perhaps set up some auto deduction to donate some money for a cause, and then I move forward. I control what I can control. That's what the Serenity Prayer reminds me to do on a daily basis. It keeps me sane. So looking for my purpose then, here's a friend of mine. He worked in the HR industry in Singapore. His name is Simon. And he helped me to change my life again, but not in a way that I expected or that I wanted. Simon and I worked on a conference in Singapore in 2019. It was about the future of work, and he was a HR consultant. And we were showing up to do the event, and we were supposed to have a rehearsal, and Simon didn't show up. And we were all wondering what happened. Maybe he's stuck in traffic or something, but he didn't show up. Then I checked my phone, and suddenly it was all these messages that Simon had died of suicide. And Simon was at the time a man who I became quite close to. We were working together. He had just been to Mount Everest, which was one of his dreams, to climb up to the base camp in Mount Everest. I was following him on social media as he was on his mission to do this, which was one of his dreams. He had just shared on social media pictures of him and his girlfriend, saying that he'd never been happier. So on the outside, everything looked like it was great. So I was left with all these questions. What happened to Simon? Why is he gone? Then I called up his brother in the UK to ask what happened, and he also didn't know. And we were so sad, and the more I looked into this, we were just left with more questions. There was no answers. That's when I got very sad, very angry, and I decided to take action. I called up this SOS, which is a suicide prevention agency in Singapore, and I signed up as a volunteer and a fundraiser and I set up a website to collect money and to raise awareness of suicide prevention. And I'm still today a volunteer and fundraiser for them, because I wanted to start making the awareness that we need to talk about these things. We need to talk about our inner feelings. If it's sad, if it's bad, if it's a depression like in my foot, we need to talk about it so we can break the pattern and get out of it. And as I was working on this project, I made a video. So that video from this clip I put up on LinkedIn is still there today. It went viral. All over the world, people started to write to me, thanking me for talking about this topic that no one else dared to talk about. And that is something that really started to give me a purpose. I then started to talk about it in events. I started to travel around in Singapore, Indonesia, Malaysia to talk about this, that we need to make a difference and we need to talk about it. Then the media was interested. I went on radio, TV, newspapers to write articles about it. And I thought, wow, I opened something here which no one is comfortable talking about. And the more I researched it, the more I got inspired, the more I realized this is my purpose. I need to do this, because if I was so close to being sick and almost perhaps dying as well, like Simon, then we need to stop this. So with that, I wrote a book, Executive Loneliness, which became a bestseller. With this book, I researched and I interviewed over 100 senior executives and entrepreneurs on the topic of executive loneliness. So with that, I realized this is really my purpose. Now I was happier than being on a big payroll in a big company, doing a job that I thought was what society wanted me to do. This was what I was meant to be doing. I was supposed to be helping people. With that in mind, I needed to find a real connection. Because before, I've been always covering up with a mask. And this is something I found also through my research. As I interviewed senior executives, they were basically putting on a mask when they went to the office. They were not the true self, just like myself. There was a mismatch. So I had to really, really think about the person I was. It was time to become authentic. We heard a lot today about authentic leadership. We heard about that we need to be authentic. And that was the journey that I had to be on as well. I had to really be myself. Once I had myself and being my authentic self, indeed, I got remarried, but I also started to join support groups. I needed to talk not only to a therapist, not only to my wife, but I need to be in a setting to talk to other people about my feelings. And still today, I'm a volunteer and I'm helping many of these groups. The first thing I do every morning is checking in on people. Even now, as I will be in Maldives, I have some meetings online here to support many people and men, especially to have these safe places where we can speak. My business today, I have 900 paid members who are members of my organization, where we create confidential peer groups where we can help each other. I started also to sign up for cycling clubs, which was closer to my purpose. If I look back at my children's photo album, you can see pictures of me cycling with a big smile on my face. I loved cycling as a child. So now it was time for me to become a child again, to do what I loved, to do what I wanted. I joined running clubs. There's no wonder. Thank you for the run this morning. We will run tomorrow morning. Afif, where are you? You're going to run tomorrow? Afif have promised that we're going to run tomorrow morning. So if anyone wants to run tomorrow morning, you can come here to the Manhattan Hotel at 5 o'clock and we will run. Now, who will come and run with us 5 o'clock tomorrow? I see about 200 hands. So I'm looking forward to that. So, but joining all these organizations, cycling and running, it was not only the sport. It was also about networking, socializing. Just like this morning, we had a wonderful time together, running around Malé for 2 hours, talking about everything. I have a good view now of this country, and I made good friends for life. That's what it's about. What you see here in the pictures is people full of life, and that's me, by the way. That's my coach. This is my coach, Jürgen Sack. He's a legend in the sport of Ironman triathlon. And this is me. If you can see, do you see my smile there? That's not for the camera. That's a natural, true, authentic me. I'm doing what I love. So my message is make sure, think about yourself as a child. What did you love to do? Did you like to swim, cycle, play? Play! I'm turning 50 soon, and I can still play, like a child. That is what makes me happy. You can see I naturally start smiling just thinking about it. Just thinking about running with 200 people tomorrow morning here, it makes me smile. So it's no wonder that we're happy when we are around people. We have already spoken about this study over the weekend also. What is it that makes a good life? What is it really that makes a good life? Well, it's human connections. It's relationships with people. And we need to have a connection with ourselves, with a power greater than ourselves, and with other people. We need those three connections. So this study then shown that it is by being connected. That's how we live longer. That's how we are happy. On the other side, if you have broken relationships, if you don't have a good connection with yourself, if you have no power greater than yourself, there's no God in your life, and then you have no connections with people, then it's as bad as smoking 14 cigarettes a day. That's what Robert says. As bad as smoking 14 cigarettes a day. So think about this for yourself. Do you have any broken relationships in your life? Do you have anything unsaid, maybe with your family, your sister, your brother, your parents, your children, your neighbors? If there is something there, fix it, because otherwise you might as well start smoking. In my case, I had to make amends. I had to go back and make apologies and make amends and sort out my relationships so I could feel good again. That's what I do on a day-to-day basis now. I try to have all my relationship positive. With this, it was time to put some goals in my life. Who in here have KPIs and goals at work? So most of you have goals at work. Who has written goals for yourself? Oh, quite a lot of you have goals for yourself. Anyone who knows what a SMART goal is? What does it stand for? Yes, and realistic. You get a copy of a book. That's a book by Brian Tracy. So here are 3 of the goals that I set for myself to come back. And of course, this is just a short summary, but behind them are big, detailed goals. I had to put these goals to get myself on track. So as you saw the picture of me being overweight, sitting with that wine glass, and I then had come back to life, I had surrendered, and I had found purpose, I had found connection, and I was ready to go back and go and get the life I wanted. And these are the 3 goals that I worked on first with my coach. The first was Ironman Triumph, to really get back into life. And with that comes nutrition. We spoke about a lot of nutrition, eating right. And it came about sleep, resting. It came about training. And so I put that goal for myself because I knew if I can achieve my Ironman success, it will take care of my health, so I don't need to take medication. That was the first goal. The second was best-selling author. Why? Because it was linked to my purpose to carry out this positive message and breaking the stigma around loneliness, and that we can talk about depression and mental health. The third one was my career. I needed an income, and I wanted to do a job which was meaningful. So I set goals to expand my network. As I put these goals into action, I had to also set goals for all areas of my life, and we've seen this also over the 2 days, that we need to have goals for our romances, family, health, finances, business, and the environment and fun and so on. I had goals for all my life, because otherwise you're going to walk around blindly in your life, and you're not sure where you're going. Imagine if at work no one has any goals, you have no KPIs. What will happen to the business? What will happen to the business? So treat your life seriously, aligning the goals with your purpose, and then it's easier to see where you're going to go. So let's see what happened with me. These are just 3 goals. I have about 40, 50 goals behind. I will show you what happened to 3. The first goal, the Ironman goal. This is me at the finish line in 2019, coming up just before the finish of Ironman. Look at that smile. It's not for a camera, yeah? That's the natural smile of me. Did you see that smile this morning? For 2 hours, right? And 200 of you will see this smile tomorrow morning here at 5 a.m. Right? Let's hope Afif also smile at that time tomorrow. And all. So this is what I got, because I knew I love this, I'm going to do it. I put the goal, I set everything in action. I achieved it. And it made me feel unstoppable. The book came out. I had a lot of fear and anxiety releasing the book, but I got support by people. And it became a bestseller in mental health, men's health, and step recovery programs on Amazon. It became a bestseller. Still today, I talk all over the world about the book. I've been on over 100 podcasts to share my story to help others. The third goal was to expand my business, and this is an award from Singapore in 2021, where I was awarded for the fast-growing business. And this means that more people are getting support. Now 900 people in my network who share knowledge, who help each other every day. So these are meaningful goals for me. So if I go back now and think, when I had a big package in a job I didn't like, when I was lonely, isolated, when I was lost, now I don't care about the salary and the package. It's not important. It's not what I work for, live for. Back then I lived in a big house, I had a car, a driver. These days I live in a very small apartment, very basic, it's old. I don't need any fancy things. I don't have a car, I don't need a car. I live a basic life, and I'm the most happiest I've ever been in my life. And with your goals, make them meaningful, because who wants to celebrate in an empty stadium? Because that's what I did before. If I achieved I remember achieving, the bonus, the payments and so on, but I had no one to celebrate it with. It was all for myself. What's the point? Now, so when you achieve something, do it for meaningful goals. Make a difference in your community. Then you can be proud about it. And then you feel that you're doing the right thing. The last one I will touch on today is a big one. And if there's some people who know me, who say that I'm good at something, they say it's the discipline. That's what people look at me for. So let me share some tips with you today. So discipline. In my calendar, I blocked 3 hours per day for the rest of my life for myself. There's 24 hours per day. I blocked 3 hours per day from now until the rest of my life, forever in my calendar, for myself. There's some time every morning, and there's some time at night. That's time for me. When I come on a trip like this, I need to move the times around, but I don't negotiate on this. My wife knows this. All my colleagues knows it. All my friends, my family. It's blocked. It's my time. That time is prayer, meditation. It's writing my daily gratitude list. Those who know me know I have not missed this for many years now. I send it to people every day. In this time is my exercise. It's my self-care time, so I can show up at my best. In this time, the 3 hours for myself is also the CEO mindset, the creative mindset. You remember the presentation we heard earlier today about having, what's your space when you are creative? My space to be creative is in my own time. When I pray, meditate, swim, exercise, that's when I have the strategic, the leadership mindset. So that time is the best time for me to think, and I do it in a very productive way. So that's my first recommendation if you can, and it doesn't have to be 3 hours, but at least spare 1 or 2 hours per day and block it in your calendar and communicate this. I'm sure leaders, family around you will respect it, and because you will be more productive. And by the way, this is also about discipline. Can anyone see what it says on my cap? Anyone who says it loud will get a copy of my book. Shut up and train, I heard here. Yes, shut up and train. So this is a cap given from me, to me from my coach. And what it means is that so many times when we want to do exercise, oh, it's raining, I'm not going to go outside. or we're tired, or I have a little bit of pain in my toe, maybe I should not run. We make so many excuses. So my coach, he says, just shut up and train. So, but whatever you do with your own time, no self-doubt, no complaint, no consolation, just do it. So that's the self-discipline. Don't think, don't overthink. Put it in habits, routines. So the prayer, meditation, gratitude list, exercise, those 4 things is the start of every day. And I have not missed it for as long as I can remember. And I hope I will keep it forever. That's the start of my day. Then here, by the way, is my invoice or receipt from my coach who gave me the hat. I have prepaid him the coaching fee until October 2025. Because he uploads my training schedule every week, and that's the most important for me. The most important is that I keep my habit, I keep going, I have someone who drives me, who I can speak to about my training. So that's on the discipline. Now we're coming here, it's almost the end. And I know that starting something can be difficult. And I remember when I wanted to come back, I thought, to do an Ironman, it's too difficult, it's too much. But just remember, it's about getting started. It's about taking the first step. You don't have to run 21 kilometers tomorrow 5 a.m. But you can show up and you can run 1 kilometer. You can walk one loop around 5 kilometers. That's the start. And how long did you jog this morning? Big applause, you jogged 5K this morning. So I hope you come tomorrow morning also, so we can all run and be a big group tomorrow morning. And it is about this. Don't overthink, just get started. Get the momentum. It's progress over perfection. So the steps I then taken you through today is first surrender, then purpose, and then I found a connection in myself with others. I shared about a bit of setting goals for yourself. And remember, set the goals for yourself, not just your company. And then be disciplined to push through, deliver them, and don't make it random. Block your calendar and make it happen. So this is my life now. This is the difference when I have goals and purpose in my life. I win awards. I have a romantic relationship beyond my wildest dreams. I can compete at the highest level. I'm here in the Maldives to meet all you beautiful people. I'm going out to Olga this week, the Arts Resort, to continue working with you and connecting with more people. This is a life that I could not picture. I didn't know before that I could have a life this good. It came from going through those 5 steps that I talked to you about today. So now let's come back here finally to your life. Think about what you were thinking about before. What would be a life beyond your wildest dreams look like? And I want to ask you one thing. Who in here were thinking of material things such as having a nice car or a beautiful big house? Was there anyone? A few. I just want you to think about that because I didn't have this kind of nice car. I had a normal car, but still, I had a car, I had a house before, but I was not happy. Happiness, to me, comes from going through those 5 steps that I presented today. And it's really by having a real connection with yourself, with others, with a power greater than yourself, and living a meaningful life where you contribute to your society and do something good. So that's a life that I hope inspires you, and I'm looking forward to seeing you all 5 a.m. tomorrow at the Manhattan Business Hotel. Thank you very much.